Hello, everybody. Welcome to Browns and Beyond, your home for Cleveland Browns content, NFL content, and other sports content. If you're enjoying the show, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you stay locked in with all the latest sports content. All right, boys, it's another Thursday night here. We've got some football coming up, and we're going to review some football from this previous week, and also kind of discuss some things here. Let's start out with the hurt quarterbacks around the NFL. Wow, a little bit of a mash unit, wouldn't you say, Dave?
Yeah, it was a tough week for some really good quarterbacks, by the way. In fact, one we really liked, Brent.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We're going to start with Mr. Joe Burrow. He's out with a turf toe. He had a toe injury on the left foot that will require surgery. That injury occurred during the game against the Jaguars. Significant blow. The diagnosis was a grade 3 turf toe.
Yeah.
With torn ligaments. I did not know that until this report. Wow, that seems pretty serious.
Yeah,
he's expected to be sidelined for 3 months. Dave, do you think that he's gonna be able to play this year? That seems kind of
but this one hurts, Brent. This was the Dave Green Shield and Brent Keaton preseason MVP pick.
I know.
It looks like yet another season that could be lost to injury to Joe Burrow. What I've got to say about this is, number one, when the guy's been healthy, he's put together 3 magical seasons. One in which he led them to a Super Bowl, another a championship game. And I can make a case that he might have been the best quarterback last year, guys, statistically.
Yeah.
So the 3 seasons he's been healthy, but now we're looking at a 3rd season that he's going to miss. His rookie year, 2 years ago, and now this year. The interesting thing will be, where is this team come December? They have to have a little bit of confidence in Jake Browning, by the way. Jake Browning 2 years ago went 4-3 as a starter. He obviously he led them to a victory this week. He did throw 3 picks in the game. But you know what? The guy's, a solid quarterback. He has close to a 70% completion percentage. He's fairly accurate. He doesn't necessarily have the Burrow arm talent or the ability to read defenses or, the ability to escape out of the pocket and make plays out of the structure. He's just really a good...
He can win games, right, Dave? He can win games.
He can win games.
He can get in a playoff hunt, possibly.
Well,
They came close. They came close.
They had a winning record 2 years ago with him at quarterback, and that was after losing Burrow. Listen, you start with Chase and Higgins, the best pair of wide receivers. I think Chase Brown's an underrated running back. They obviously have the skill player talent around him to succeed. It's going to be really interesting to see, though. I have to say this, guys. If this team's playing well, come December, and they're in the playoff hunt, and Browning's playing well, you still would have to go back to Joe Burrow.
Well, I think Browning. I do see a way that Browning would keep the gig. I would say that if he plays lights out, and Burrow, I don't think that is an injury. Based on what I'm reading here, I don't think he can just be snapped back right into form. And I think there's going to be some serious rehab there. I could see a path where Browning would continue to play. But I know what you mean, the playoffs, so that would, you know what I mean?
They're in contention for a wild card spot, come December, and Browning's playing really good football, and Joe Burrow, it's Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I think you got to go back to Joe Burrow.
More than...
The backup has a reason why they're in there. They're supposed to be able to perform. You got to go back to your starter.
Browning will probably have some losses along the way, you would think.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. You guys are talking me off the cliff here. The Browning cliff. Can I
give one quick thought here? People are starting to make kind of the Andrew Luck comparison. Remember, Andrew Luck had some injuries as his career. That a lot of people thought that was the reason his career was cut short. He decided to retire early. And, he was kind of beat up behind a bad offensive line. Now, I know the offensive line should take a lot of blame for this, but I have to say, Joe Burrow is one of those quarterbacks that stares down the gun barrel of that rush. You know what I mean? And he'll take a hit. It's actually an admirable quality, Brent. It really is an admirable quality.
He's had to take hits with a bad offensive line for a long time, especially his rookie season.
But what I'm saying, though, is he'll go through his progressions. He'll hold the ball before he takes a shot, and he'll look to take maybe a shot down the field. And sometimes he's inviting the pressure that way. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So what I guess what I'm saying is what makes him great is also something that could actually make him get hurt.
Yeah. Steve, give us your thoughts on Mr. Burrow and his injury situation.
Yeah, Brent, I hate to say this, but I think he's injury prone. I mean, I got to say, year after year, you always have to worry. I mean, they played him a little more in the preseason. Could that have done? I mean, I guess you can't help it that he's got the turf toe injury, gets injured like that. What's his Eric Armstead sacked him in the Jacksonville game. Like we said, 3 months. I mean, he had to hobble off the field. The torn ligaments in the foot. I don't. Could that have been strain of playing too much? I don't know. Or was it just on that one hit and boom, that's the injury? I don't know. Could you say that they shouldn't have played him more in the preseason, even though he seemed okay? I think he's just proven to be injury prone, guys, and it's a problem. So you better rely on Jake Browning. I mean, he got him to win. They won 31-27. I mean, he had 2 touchdown passes, 3 interceptions.
Had some financial interest in that game, by the way.
I'd say he's one of the better backups. But this definitely hurts the Bengals' playoff hopes for sure, and definitely your guys is for him to be Burrow to be MVP and Bengals to get to the Super Bowl, right, Brent?
Yeah, I think that he holds the fort down, Mr. Browning and Burrow. And he'll insert himself into the lineup end of the season and into the playoffs. I do feel that.
So you think, bottom line, okay, if this team has a winning record come December, Joe Burrow is healthy.
Yeah.
He comes back as the starting quarterback, maybe mid to late December in that 3
Yeah,
months?
I do. I thought at first they wouldn't yank the Browning. Browning would have to be like, he'd have to go like 14-0. Like he would have to play really well in order for him to keep that job. Because Burrow is such a good quarterback.
I
mean, man, is he good. All right, guys, we're going to get into the next player in this injury list here, and that is Mr. J.J. McCarthy. Dave Greenshield, he has a lot of great things to say about J.J. McCarthy. Basically, so here's what he got. Currently sidelined with a high ankle sprain on his right ankle.
Yeah.
The injury occurred in the Atlanta Falcons game when he was tackled after a run.
Yes.
He's in a walking boot and is receiving treatment. He's expected to miss 2 to 4 weeks. The team has not placed him on injured reserve, which indicates they expect him to return before the 4-week minimum for that list. He's ruled out for the Week 3 matchup against the Bengals, and Mr. Carson Wentz will be the starting quarterback for the Vikings. And I guess they also signed Desmond Ridder.
Yeah.
But anyways, Dave,
watch out for Desmond Ridder.
Get your thoughts on that.
Well, I think the love for J.J. McCarthy was coming from the other side of the table. I'm going to get into that when I talk about my game review later. High ankle sprain can be a little tricky. I mean, he's a younger guy. He does like to utilize his legs. He's a mobile quarterback. So that's going to be interesting to see the recovery time, Brent. I have heard this is a sneaky way for the Vikings to bench him after he's played only 1 good quarter of football in 2 games.
I doubt that.
Wow. I don't think Steve Retcher likes that.
I got a chuckle out of that one, Brent and Steve. I don't think you did, but I found that to be interesting. What I find interesting is, he missed a lot of throws, and he's expected to be, a solid starting NFL quarterback. I'll get more into that in my game review. But, mobility is a big part of his game, so it's going to be interesting to see the timetable. I will say, let me get into Carson Wentz. If he has to hold down the fort, this is a quarterback who's not defeated a team with its starting lineup since Week 6 of 2022. So he's not necessarily won a meaningful regular season football game in nearly 3 years, guys. I mean, ouch. To add to a bad situation, the Vikings are without suspended wide receiver Jordan Addison. Left tackle is out. The center is out. You're looking at Aaron Jones is facing an injury. So they got a couple of key losses on the offensive line. And not good for a quarterback that hasn't won a game in 3 years when it comes to the talent around him. Overall, it's just going to be interesting to see how well he can hold down the fort. This is still a very talented roster. Time will tell for him and for JJ.
Yeah, no doubt. Mr. Steve Retzer, your favorite quarterback, J.J. McCarthy.
Guys, I still like J.J. McCarthy. I mean, when he came back in that Monday night, beat the Bears, I know it's just the Bears. I mean, that was good. And, of course, we know he's got the high ankle sprain. Then he hasn't played as well. So, Colin Cowherd actually gave him an incomplete. He didn't really want to be able to give him a grade. He wants to see more. I think he's going to be okay. That's my personal thoughts.
Yeah, he'll play.
I liked him out of Michigan. Me and Brent like him. I think he's going to be okay. I mean, what did they say? 2 to 4 weeks.
2 to 4 weeks is in a walking boot.
Yeah.
And receiving treatment. So.
Speaking of, the Vikings and the Bengals meet this week, guys. So it's the battle of the backups.
Yeah.
You got Jake Browning and you got Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
You just said.
Yeah.
I mean, did we want to watch that game? Are we getting excited,
the
boys?
battle of the backups.
Battle of the backups.
I was having a discussion on a fantasy football talk. This was a few years. This was about 5 years ago, and I was actually at one time a Carson Wentz guy. Remember,
I was.
I liked him for the Eagles.
He was solid for the Eagles.
I at one time was a Carson Wentz guy. He actually played. I remember he was coming off a pretty solid 2019 season.
He had an MVP caliber season. He got injured.
Don't forget, guys, with the year they won it all.
Yes.
Nick Foles was the quarterback.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Wentz took him.
Wentz had the better. Am I right, guys?
Yeah, he had MVP
he played more.
Year,
he played more
but
games
then
than
Foles comes in and wins the Super Bowl.
Right.
But if it wasn't for Wentz, they don't win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but the bad taste in his mouth was that 22 season when the Colts choked away the division at the end of the year.
You're right.
That allowed Brent's favorite quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, to come in with the division.
I know.
Take it away from the Colts that year. But yeah, I mean, he's been a solid quarterback before. He's shown he can produce. Again, I still think there's talent here. You know what? I'll get into the offensive line when I do my game review, but this offensive line appears to have some injury issues right now. I know they're going to get back their one good tackle, Darisaw, who was sorely missed against the Falcons. So that will help. But yeah, the recovery time for McCarthy for a quarterback that wants to move around, because a high ankle sprain is no joke. So that's going to be interesting to see.
Well, to finish up with Carson Wentz and the Vikings, guys, like you said, Dave, he hasn't played since 2022. That was Washington. He was the starter for the Commanders then. Backing up Patrick Mahomes, who always plays. I mean, Andy Reid has to make sure, Mahomes never wants to come out of a game. So, yeah, he didn't get to play much. But I do like Wentz with Kevin O'Connell. I think that he might be able to even win games because, Wentz has played. He hasn't played in a long time. But as a backup, they got a talented team. And, yes, they're injured, Dave. But I do think he could even win a few games for him. I do. Even with not having played in a couple of years.
Yeah. We're going to get into our next quarterback on our list, and that is Mr. Justin Fields. I know Steve Retzer is a big Justin Fields guy. I think a few years ago he said Justin Fields is going to tear the NFL up. I don't know how that worked out for you, Steve. But anyways, he's currently on the NFL concussion protocol. The injury occurred during the game against the Buffalo Bills. He was sacked, and the back of his helmet hit the turf. Diagnosis is concussion. He's in the league's 5-step concussion protocol, which has no set timeline. He has been ruled out for upcoming Week 3 matchup against Tampa Bay. His status for the future games is uncertain and will depend on his progress through the protocol. And then I guess Mr. Tyrod Taylor, he will be the quarterback. In his absence. So I will turn it over to Mr. Dave Greenshield. Dave, give us your thoughts on Mr. Fields.
Well, he left the game in the fourth quarter. Obviously, was evaluated for a head injury. That's, of course, usually concussion. He wasn't able to practice, so it was pretty much a foregone conclusion as the week has moved along here. He's probably not going to play this week. This is his third team in 5 years. I think that Justin Fields has proved positive, by the way, that quarterbacks can get second and third chances, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Third team in 5 years. So, and I'm a big Ohio State fan, but even coming out of Ohio State, I thought at best Justin Fields would be a serviceable NFL quarterback. At best. Now, I don't think the Bears ever did him right. It's interesting. He got off to a good start this season against the Steelers. I thought he played very well in Week 1.
Yeah, played a good game.
But he was struggling in this one. I mean, 3 of 11, 27 yards, 2 sacks. He's stuck in. We talk about the Bears being not a bad situation. Well, some would say the same thing about the New York Jets as well. It's going to be interesting. Browns fans know all too well about Mr. Tyrod Taylor. as a career 28-28-1 record, which is
not bad.
Yeah, well, it's right at 500.
That's right. He was the starting quarterback before this other guy took over, Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, you know who that guy is, right?
I don't want to talk about that right now, do I, Dave?
In the Jets game, Taylor was in there, right?
Right.
Taylor's out, and then Baker had that magical game in Cleveland against the Jets.
Well, remember the first game of the 18 season?
Prime time, too, I believe.
The first game of the 18 season, they played the Steelers to a tie, Steve, to start the 2018, and he was the starter in that game, by the way.
Wow.
That's where the tie comes into play, by the way. I just want to throw that out there.
Yes.
He completed 7 of 11 passes for 56 yards and a touchdown. It'll be interesting to see, monitoring this situation with Fields, when he's going to be able to come back and, get back on the field for the Jets. Concussions.
Mm-hmm.
He's not had, I believe, a lot of them in his career. He brings a lot to the table still with his legs. So it's going to be interesting to see how Taylor does, and it's going to be interesting to see how soon Justin Fields can come back.
All right, Steve, talk about your favorite player, Justin Fields.
I know, Justin Fields. Well, Brent, I called him like my surprise player. What did we call him?
Dark horse.
Dark horse. Sorry, yeah,
yes.
he was my dark horse. I just think this playing with the Bears, not a great organization upcoming year, right now. And Matt Eberflus, the coach, defensive-minded coach, never really had his best interest. It wasn't really a match made in heaven. I like the Fields. I think he can still start in the league. I mean, I'd call him a bottom-tier quarterback, but
right.
I think he's serviceable, like you just said, Dave. He got hit by Joey Bosa in the Bills uniform, so so that got him out there. I do think he can come back and still win a few games for the Jets. I really do. I think he's a serviceable quarterback. Tyrod Taylor, as we said, playing for the Browns. I liked it when he was the Bills quarterback. He had some solid games here and there. So he's an average backup, like you just said, about 500. That makes sense to me, Dave.
Yeah,
that's what you're gonna get.
Yeah, he actually, I think, led the Bills.
He can win a game here and there. At least compete in the game.
Right.
Keep it within a field goal. Keep it in reach.
And the Jets, to win games this year, we're going to have to be built more around their defense and Breece Hall running the football.
That defense going to have to step it up.
Yeah, the defense.
Hall with the running.
Yeah. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into the next quarterback on the list, and that's Mr. Jaden Daniels. Guys, that's my boy. He is my second, favorite quarterback. Browns, obviously, whoever the quarterback is for the Browns.
Yes.
And maybe Mr. Gabriel might be at the top of that list.
Yes.
Here in weeks to come. We're
going to get into that.
Keep an eye. Yeah, we'll get into that. But Mr. Daniels is dealing with a left knee sprain, which puts his availability for Week 3 in question. The injury occurred during the game with the Packers, and I guess from what I understand, it's day to day. He's been undergoing some treatment, some rehab, and he's been throwing on the field, but he has not participated yet in full team practice. The timeline here, his status for Week 3 against the Raiders is uncertain. Dan Quinn said that Daniels will need to practice with the team before being cleared to play, and they will assess his availability after Friday's practice. And so we will get right into that. And from what I understand, I guess if Daniels is not able to play, we get to see Mariota again. That'll be interesting, right, Dave?
Yeah, maybe not so much for Washington. Yeah, he's being labeled day-to-day and questionable for Week 3. Again, it appears to be a leg injury. I don't think they specified on the exact type of leg injury, Brent. At least
it says left knee sprain.
Left knee sprain. Okay. Yeah, I actually noticed when I watched that Thursday night game against the Packers. It happened in the fourth quarter. You could see he landed awkwardly on that leg, got up, and you could see he was kind of limping around a little bit. He didn't have the same spring in his step. Wasn't moving quite as well. He was able to finish the game, even with that situation with the leg. I probably lean towards him. I've heard that teams are leaning towards him playing this week, which would be really interesting because, believe you me, Marcus Mariota is a last option if you have to go there. I haven't been a fan of Mariota since he came out of Oregon.
Is it 2015 and there's the Buckeyes are playing the Ducks for all the marbles? Can we?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
He won a Heisman, by the way.
Yeah.
Marcus Mariota, Heisman Trophy winner Marcus Mariota. Started his career with the Titans, actually led them to the playoffs, interesting enough. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, if Daniels plays. Again, legs, like with McCarthy, are a big part of his game. His ability to scramble, gain yards on the ground, evade the rush, get outside the pocket. He's just not a stationary, pure pocket guy. He needs to use his legs to be effective. So it's going to be interesting to see, how the week progresses and if he's going to be starting this week, because Washington definitely needs him.
Yep. Mr. Steve Retzer, give us your thoughts on Mr. Daniels, his injury situation.
Well, that left knee sprain, in the Packers game, I do think that they're going to need him. I played basketball and football, guys. I had a right knee sprain. I know my injuries.
Steve.
I know.
Have we heard about his football or basketball
He never
career?
talks about his high school career. Never. I've never heard anything about
Not
it.
once, I don't think.
Go ahead,
Well, anyway,
Steve.
having the same injury, obviously a much different time, different player. It only took me like a week to get back. This guy's a professional, obviously a lot better than I was. So I think he could return even this week, at the most the following week. I think he's going to be okay. Washington does need him.
Oh, those days at St. V, Steve.
St. V's in Colga Falls.
Yeah, please
That's right.
Oh my God, we're gonna have a separate show just on Retzer's high school career.
It doesn't take that long to get back from a knee sprain.
Watch our views
You gotta
decline
ice
on
it.
that one.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe you got a knee immobilizer, for a week.
That's good.
But he's gonna be okay, guys. So
So
turn it over.
you expect him to play?
Possibly play
Okay.
Sunday. It's a
Okay.
possibility. At the very most,
he might
miss
play.
one game. He's definitely ready for the next.
Yeah.
That's my
That's what
prediction
you're right.
on that. Marcus Mariota.
Yeah.
He was so in Atlanta. I don't know. We didn't like him much in Tennessee, right? He's just about average or below average backup, I'd say. So I wouldn't. You need Daniels back.
That's no doubt
let's say it
about
like
it.
that.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, we're going to get into our last quarterback, and this one's very special to my heart.
Near and dear.
And this is Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
And anyways, so he's dealing with a toe injury that forced him. He did not play week 2. The injury has been described as turf toe variant, another turf toe.
Yeah.
And also includes an issue with his non-throwing shoulder. So he's got turf toe variant, left shoulder issue.
Yeah.
He's currently in rehab. Initial reports suggest a timeline of 2 to 5 weeks, but recent updates indicate he's recovering faster than expected.
Yeah.
He was limited participant in practice on Wednesday, and the team now is describing his status as day-to-day. He has been ruled out for week 2. We knew that, but he might be playing in week 3 against the Cardinals. Dave, give us some insight on Mr. Purdy.
Yeah, a couple things. It's a toe injury. It happened in their Week 1 victory. This is far less serious than the toe injury that obviously Mr. Burrow is going through. No surgery is going to be required here, according to NFL insider Albert Breer. I will add that it appears Mac Jones could be the starter. He played great, actually, this week against the Saints. He was great. 26 of 39, 279 yards, 3 touchdowns. Listen, I wasn't a fan of Mac Jones coming out of college. I think he was one of those quarterbacks at Alabama that was in the perfect situation with receivers, a great offensive line. And you saw it with the Patriots, by the way. He got off to a solid start.
Dave, he made a Pro Bowl in his first rookie season.
You want
Really?
I'm going to borrow.
He did.
I'm going to borrow Keaton
I
as
think
of
it's
right
because other
now.
quarterbacks were injured, but he made it, right?
Say
He
it.
still counts.
2 words.
No, Mirage. I'm
Yeah,
gonna borrow
oh, yeah, yeah.
Keaton.
Oh,
A
yeah.
Mirage. That
It's
was
a
a
mirage.
mirage.
Yeah, it was.
And that definitely proved to be a mirage.
Of course, Retzer's got to bring up his highlights.
The highlight of his career,
Yeah, he's got to bring it. And nobody would know those facts, right? Those useless facts, right?
Probably not.
I know. I love it, Steve.
I will say this. He could be serviceable for, as you saw, for a week, maybe 2.
Yeah.
Especially in the 49ers offense.
Wait till there's film.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is not a guy you want as your starting quarterback. If anything, he's a lower-end starting quarterback, as seen in New England. I've heard, I saw the updates too, Brent, just the other day, that there's a good chance that Purdy could play against Arizona. I think that would be big for Purdy and big for the Niners.
Yeah. Let's get to Mr. Steve Retzer. Steve, give us your thoughts on Mr. Purdy's injury status.
Well, Brent, doesn't this go figure? Guys get paid, and what do? Go get injured, Like,
Yeah,
go figure.
Steve doesn't
Brock
like
Purdy
big.
finally got a nice paycheck.
Steve doesn't like big contracts, right, Steve?
Yeah, I'm not a big contract guy because it seems like they don't perform or they get injured. Well, I know it's not Purdy's fault, but he got injured. He had the toe and a left shoulder injury against Seattle, so a little bit of the left shoulder as well. I guess no timeline is certain, but I read where some were saying 2 to 5 weeks, which is kind of a long time. Mac Jones, he beat the Saints. He had 3 touchdown passes, no interceptions. I mean, what a game. if he keeps playing, he's looking good. Kyle Shanahan is a great coach.
Yes.
So it doesn't surprise me that Mac Jones could perform well when you got Kyle Shanahan as your head coach, guys.
Yeah, and still some good offensive talent around them.
Yeah.
Especially if they get the running game going with Christian McCaffrey. Still got a couple good targets to throw the football to. So, yeah.
Well said. All right, we're going to get into our favorite topic of the day, and that is the Browns versus Ravens recap review. We got to talk about it, boys.
Yes.
The time has arrived, and we will lead with Mr. Steve Retzer. Steve, I was with you that day when they played,
Yes,
and we did have a good time at Laconi's, and that was a highlight. But that was about it, right, Steve?
Well, this is a case where booze definitely helps you get through the day. I just have to say
a few high noons, a few Tito's and cranberries.
Yeah. And so the score was, I believe, tell me if I'm wrong, 41-17.
Yes.
The Ravens in victory here as they celebrate their 30th year anniversary. Steve, try to make this nightmare go away. Let's talk. Can we be quick on this? Go ahead.
Yeah, Brent. Oh boy. Well, yeah, guys, they were trying to mark their 30-year anniversary and go figure, like we said, against the Browns. And, of course, they made it happen. 41-17. I did pick the Ravens to win, but I did thought it would be close. I was wrong on this one, okay? But the Browns were actually only down 10-3 at halftime.
Yeah.
But the second half, the Ravens they just crushed us. They annihilated us.
The roof caved in. I think that's fair to say that.
And here's where I'm going to say on what happened especially. This is my thought process. I thought Kevin Stefanski's play calling was terrible.
Wow.
I thought he was too predictable.
Steve's right.
I don't think Flacco played as bad as some people are saying.
100% agree.
I truly don't.
Where was the play action, Steve?
Yeah, I don't think Flacco played an awful game. I think Stefanski, if I were him, I'd put the loss on himself. I know he's blaming some of the offense, some of the defense. The defense actually played very well, at least the first half.
Oh, it played great, I think. I would use the term almost great, especially against this offense.
Yeah, against a high-powered offense.
Oh, yeah.
If I'm Stefanski, you better start figuring out this play calling because you had Baltimore. I mean, come on. He's got to get it together. I'm not all the way sold. I've said this for a long time.
Does he hand it over to Tommy Reese, Steve? I doubt it.
I wouldn't give Reese the head coaching gig, but I know you got to let him finish the year out. But I don't know. And some people are saying that he might be done, finute, after the end of this
That's what
year.
I'm hearing, too. I'm hearing rumors that Stefanski,
Him and Barry, both.
Yeah.
Let's get into Flacco. He was 25 of 45 for 190 yards passing with a touchdown and one interception. He's always got to get that interception in there. I thought Harold Fannin Jr. had another game, caught 5 balls for 48 yards. You got Jerry Jeudy involved a little bit. A lot of people were kind of complaining, like, Jeudy should be a number one receiver, a little more production, they're saying so far. But with that poor play calling, I don't know. But he had 4 catches, 51 yards. David Njoku, another 4 catch, 40 yards. My boy Cedric Tillman, though, guys.
Oh, come on now.
He had a touchdown catch.
Yeah, that was. Did you watch that play? That was fluky at best. You're continuing to die on the Tillman Hill, Steve.
Boys, do you think Jim Donovan did something to make that pass go to Tillman? Maybe Jim came back for a day? Okay.
Something tells me that he's going to have a bigger receptions year than the Jabari Thrash. What do you guys think?
I don't want to talk about that.
That's like being a valedictorian of summer school.
I know. Come on.
Give me a break.
But a touchdown in both games. I called it, guys, on Tillman.
Oh, my
I think
God.
he only had 2 receptions, but one was for a touchdown, so that's what counts.
Wow.
So, on a good note, guys, let's get to rookie sensation Quinshad Judkins.
Okay.
He had 10 rushes for 61 yards. He was close to my prediction. I remember, guys, I said he'd carry the ball 12 carries. I said he'd have 12 carries.
Yeah, you were closer than I was.
I was close. I was pretty close. So I did think that they were going to give him a look, and they did. It looks like he's going to be really good. He didn't miss a beat without training camp, in my opinion. This is Dave's rookie impact player, and I see why, Dave.
Yeah.
He's a strong back. He can run through defenders, that's for sure. The part that stinks, though, here is the NFL is going to nail him with that suspension, and we're going to see him do so good. He'll probably play well again. Against Green Bay coming up.
Did you have to remind me of that?
I know this is typical Browns. When we do have something good or something's in our favor or going our way, it gets taken away. I mean,
I have some thoughts. I think they're going to nail us when that schedule gets soft. I got a feeling they're going to throw us they're going to give us a break. Meaning, he's not going to be given the suspension because the next 4 games are still rough for the Browns.
Yes,
do you think?
Well, no, I said the first 6 games of the year. I mean, they were against 6 teams with winning records and 5 teams that made the playoffs last year.
I think he's going to sit after, probably around London or after. He's going to sit. Anyway, Steve, continue. Go ahead.
Yeah, guys. So I mean, we'll see what happens, but I think they might, nail him. He's going to get at least a couple games. We're going to see you there. On a good note, the defense played really good, especially against the run.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry only had 23 yards and 11 carries. I mean, I was shocked there.
This defense is good.
Dave, it's a good defense.
Just 10 points at halftime.
You guys,
can you believe that?
That's it. To hold them to 10 points, that's amazing.
And the touchdown they got in the first half was off a turnover.
Yeah.
I believe it was that block punt.
That's right. That's right.
So this defense is the real deal.
Yeah, it is.
Lamar Jackson only had 2 runs for 13 yards. I've never seen that happen.
You guys are so right.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, Mason Graham and Devin Bush had good games. Mason Graham. I mean, he must have stopped the run. I mean, he had a bunch of tackles. Devin Bush, the linebacker, he had a good game. Of course, Myles Garrett had a good game. No surprise there. He had tackles. He had 1.5 sacks. He did say this, though, after the loss. He said, I'm embarrassed, as he would say, and as anyone would say. But you guys, this defense is looking good. I'm not upset with them. I'm more upset with the play calling, and yes, the offense needs some work. And one thing for sure, the Ravens were not predictable. They might have not run the ball much, but Lamar torched the defense in this passing game. He had 4 touchdowns and 0 interceptions, guys. Zay Flowers had 7 catches for 75 yards. DeAndre Hopkins caught a touchdown pass. I thought that Mark Andrews would get involved. I was wrong there. I'll give you that. I was wrong there. These guys, what's his face? This Tylan Wallace, he caught a touchdown pass. I don't even know much of him. Greg Newsome, he had 7 tackles for the Browns.
Yeah.
He's going to keep competing. Roquan Smith had a big game for the Ravens. When the game looked out of reach, they put in Dylan Gabriel for Joe Flacco.
Dylan Gabriel.
He had a touchdown pass to Dylan Sampson, so that was promising, but it was too late for it to matter.
Garbage touchdown.
You guys,
yes, it was.
The Browns are going to stick with Flacco as they should. With Green Bay coming up next, this could be an even better defense than the Ravens. Good luck, Browns. It looks like it's going to be a long season. Ken Carman and 90% of the fans said that Stefanski and Beer will be gone at the end of the year.
Wow.
This is a brutal part of the schedule. We got Detroit and Green Bay. Let's keep Flacco in there, and let's just get through it somehow, guys, some way. Go Browns!
All right. We're going to turn to Mr. Dave Greenshield. Dave, talk about this nightmare between the Browns and Ravens, and what was your thoughts on that game?
Well, I love the optimism by Steve. Always the optimist, Steve. I have to say, I felt that the Browns did compete pretty well despite what the score may say. I mean, especially on the defensive side of the ball, and I'll get into that in a minute. But the Browns can't help but hurt themselves. A block punt, a fumble recovery return for a touchdown, led directly to 14 points by the Ravens. I felt the Browns defense did an excellent job of keeping the team in the game with really no help at all from this offense. Let's start with ageless wonder, Mr. Flacco, a touchdown and interception. The interception this week, the 2 picks last week against the Bengals were on the receivers, not this one. On 3rd and 4 in the third quarter, he tried to fit a pass into a tight window to the tight end, and Ravens cornerback Nate Wiggins picked off the pass. The positive is he did lead an 11-play, 71-yard touchdown score, the first touchdown of the game. His day ended late in the fourth quarter as he played quarterback for the Browns. What happened after that was Dylan Gabriel. He did connect to, with Sampson, the garbage touchdown, the 8-yarder.
Yeah.
This does leave open the question, guys. Are we saying it's not time? If it was up to you guys, is it time for a change?
It's not time yet. No,
I wouldn't do it yet.
You need to get. I think the decision should be made this week against the Packers. If he performs well, the Flacco, we're going to keep on the Flacco train. Just keep that train rolling. If he doesn't perform well, I say yank and let's see Dylan at halftime.
Okay,
that's where I'm at.
So if this game is kind of like out of control, it's 21-0. It's the ship is sinking. You're ready to go with Gabriel in the second half.
I am. That is correct.
If we're getting crushed. Yeah, if we're getting crushed, I would agree. You can put Gabriel in there.
Yes.
If he keeps it close, just keep Flacco in.
That's correct.
Hopefully you keep him in for him and Detroit.
You're right. Yep.
Hopefully.
Okay.
We'll see.
All right. I just wanted to get the opinions.
Yep.
It does appear that they're sticking with Joe for the time being. To be fair to the rest of the Browns offense, they didn't help the cause here. In watching the game more closely, I talked to some people that had reviewed the film, I really felt, here's what was going on. It does appear that the Browns wide receivers get absolutely no separation. One of the things that I had said in the game preview is I thought that Judy and Tillman had to win some one-on-ones, and I thought they could win some one-on-ones against the likes of Alexander and Humphrey.
Yeah, you did say that.
The Baltimore corners. They weren't winning one-on-ones. Anybody that watches the All-22 in this game sees that they weren't getting any separation. I'm in with you guys on the play calling, but the receivers did not help the cause in this one. I know Judy finished with 51 yards receiving, but that's not, very inspiring. And I don't think this is the same Judy we saw from Week 11 on last year, Steve. I don't know if you have a thought on that, but he does not look like the same receiver.
It could be part of this play calling. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, the play calling is bad.
They got to throw down the field.
One more thing to add to it.
Too.
Dave kept saying this before the game about the running game. Guys, they got to get that right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you don't get that right, I don't care about this passing crap.
Well,
you got to get the running game going, man.
You got to know that Judkins. I wish they would just come out with it already.
Yeah. Well, that
we're uncertain. We don't know.
We're on pins and needles about it. I hear you. But, he's dropping balls. He's not getting separation. And as for you guys, Tillman Steve, he's a soft sucker. I'm comfortable. He's a soft sucker.
Touchdown in 2 games, not too
well,
bad.
That was
catches one a game.
That was a fluky touchdown, and Flacco was lucky that ball wasn't picked. Go ahead,
Steve, I saw him at Acme bagging groceries as a side job. What's going on there?
He was out somewhere. I heard it on the radio.
Yeah. No, I kind of think, guys, here's some more analysis about this that just sitting here thinking about this as you guys are talking. I kind of feel because Joe Flacco is a statue.
Yes.
You have no choice. You have to have the running game. Without that, Joe Flacco he's gonna do terrible.
Well,
bottom line.
Well, let me get into that a little bit, and I want to get into the offensive line because it's a major problem.
Yeah.
Well, to that point, they can't run block. What they've got to hope is that Judkins can turn some water into wine and make, because of his ability, he can make a very poor run-blocking offensive line look better than it is. I mean, DeJuan Jones, who was, I believe, benched in this game, is one of the worst run-blocking tackles you'll ever see.
Yes.
I don't think that weight loss program worked because he can't move anybody, And, in the passing game, the Browns could not handle the blitz packages the Ravens threw at Flacco. You saw, Roquan Smith run right through Dylan Sampson. It's tough to put that on Sampson. He's a rookie. It also doesn't help that Batonio and Jack Conklin are nursing injuries, a back and elbow injury, respectively. The Browns, again, they did get a nice contribution from Judkins. 10 carries for 61 yards. Good call, Steve. I would have said more like 6 or 7 carries. I think you said 10 to 12.
Yep.
It did seem he was on a pitch count. I mentioned that in text chain to you, Brent.
Yeah.
During the game. He needs, he needs to be the guy. He needs to get 20 carries in this offense to give the Browns any element of a running game. Because I'm done with Ford. And I like Sampson, but he can't handle 20 carries.
We got to
How many carries does Judkins have to have against Green Bay this weekend? At least 15, or would you say
15 or 20?
Yeah, I would say I would up it by 5. That's right. I'll go with that, Steve.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, there
I'll
you go.
settle on that. The Browns defense holding Derrick Henry to 23 yards. By the way, his lowest output since December 17th, 2023.
What a shame, guys.
Yeah,
this defensive stuff is just all for naught.
It was a waste. Mason Graham showed his strengths as a run stopper. He seems to be holding up better in the middle of the D-line, especially working against double teams. I would add Myles Garrett again, 2 sacks. Looks like the best defensive end in football. But we are wasting one of the best defensive ends, what's going to be one of the best defensive ends in the history of pro football. He's going to be right there with Bruce Smith and Reggie White as one of the best defensive ends in the history of pro football.
Yeah, you're right, though.
And what do we got to show for it? I mean, 2 playoff appearances. The biggest issue defensively, I do want to mention this, was the lack of depth at corner. The Ravens did a really good job of going after their weakest link. Remember, Denzel left that game. They targeted Miles Harden and also Cam Mitchell. They were victimized for touchdowns in this game. So, They got picked on. Tylan Wallace and Nuke Hopkins, D-Hop, got after him, got a late touchdown as well. That Emerson injury really hurt the depth. We talked about that a little bit in the preseason, Steve, and I thought that played out in this game. I think Denzel, I don't think that injury is long-term. Breathe a sigh of relief, Browns fans. I think he'll play this week.
Thank goodness.
But this defense can only hold down the fort for so long, guys.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a really good defense as long as it's healthy. If the corners stay healthy with this D-line, Schlesinger at linebacker, it's a top 10 defense. But this offense is just giving it no help.
Harden and Mitchell, though, shouldn't they have played a little better? But you are going against Lamar Jackson, I guess.
Right, but it just shows you their lack of depth. That after Ward, after Newsome, there is a big drop-off with Mitchell and with Harden. That's why I think they needed Emerson. That's why the Emerson injury was as big
we miss him
as
a lot.
it was. But I'll get to my bottom line. Folks, this offense is severely lacking in key areas. It's got an old, immobile quarterback, an O-line that can't run block or pick up blitzes or stunts, a wide receiver that can't get open or catch. Other than that, it's looking all right. It's going to be interesting to see if Judkins can help the run game. I'm with Steve. 15 carries would be nice. I think a QB change could be coming here in the near future. In my own opinion, I think within the next 2 weeks. At the very latest.
And that would be good in a way because we kind of need to see what we got out of the rookies.
And it interesting enough, if this team continues on this path, a coaching change may be coming. By the way, guys, is it too early to start talking about the Cavs?
Oh, wow.
It's coming up.
Very well said. All right, guys, let's see how we did on our game of the week. Each of us are going to go through the game of the week that we picked on Sunday and go over what the prediction was and what was the actual score of the game. So we will move forward with that, and we will start with Mr. Steve Retzer. Steve, go ahead and talk about the game of the week selection you had, and how'd you do?
All right, guys, I had the Eagles, the Chiefs at the Eagles. The Super Bowl rematch attracted 33.8 million viewers on Fox, with the network saying it's the best ever regular season Sunday broadcast.
Wow.
I mean, it's pretty good, guys. So I guess a rematch of the Super Bowl in a week 2 can do that.
Yeah.
I predicted the Eagles to win 2017 in a low-scoring affair, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
I was right on the money with the score, 2017 Eagles.
Great.
So I was pretty happy about that. So the Eagles, they're 2-0, and guess what? The Chiefs are now 0-2 for the first time since 2015. Who would have thought the Chiefs would have the same record as the Browns right now?
Brett, remind me, who here picked the Kansas City Chiefs
Steve
to win the
Retzer.
Super Bowl?
Okay, they're going to be late bloomers. It's okay.
That's how usually they do it, yeah.
They're
late bloomers.
They can play bad, but they'll be responding
I'm
late in the season.
not counting them out. Nick Wright will get after me on Twitter or X or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. He loves Nick Wright.
Yeah, don't mess with KC.
Yeah.
That's right. So at any rate, the Eagles they took the lead. They took the lead with a 13-yard touchdown run by Saquon Barkley. Mm-hmm. He finished with 22 rushes for 88 yards. Our boy Patrick Mahomes, he responded with a touchdown of his own. They had the game tied 10-10 at halftime, guys.
Yeah.
So it was a good game. People enjoyed watching it. I thought Kareem Hunt would have a big game. He didn't so much.
No.
He had 8 rushes for 31 yards. I don't know. I thought he would come out of the woodwork and show some promise because they needed somebody to step up.
Well, that would be big if either Pacheco or if obviously Hunt can give them a running game. I think, from what I've heard this week, I think Mahomes is going to have to start to utilize his legs more. I really do. To pick up yards on the ground, a little bit of a la Josh Allen. Lamar a little
he
bit.
Can do it. 12, Travis Kelce finished with 4 catches for 61 yards. Hollywood Brown, he had 5 catches for 30 yards. So the guys you expected to step up, they did okay, but that's not really Chief football, I mean,
right.
For the Eagles, Barkley did most of the damage. Devontae Smith, he had 4 catches for 53 yards. A.J. Brown, 5 catches, 27 yards. I'm kind of upset, though, a little bit, boys, that A.J. Brown, they're not throwing deep to. Hurts is not, they're not throwing the deep ball. They're doing all these real short passes, and it's taken like his star ability away.
Well,
what do you guys think? I was going to ask. What do you guys think?
I will throw
AJ Brown, not going,
Well, I will throw this just about the deep ball in general, Steve.
Yes.
The key play of the game, me and Brent got a chance to watch this one. By the way, Brent was thinking this would be a little bit more high scoring.
I did.
I took that advice and a little bit of a
But
wager.
I never told you to place that bet.
That's true.
Let's not go that far.
I got to cut you some slack.
Yeah, come on, bud. I said go bet on that Broncos game. That's what. It's too little, too late, right?
Too late.
On that one.
Yeah, my wallet could have used that.
I know.
But the one thing I'll say, the key play on in this game, from an offensive standpoint, Steve, was that all-out blitz on 13-10 that Hurts was able to hit down the field to Smith.
Yes.
For the long pass that set up the score that ended up being the difference in the game, made it 20-10. Yeah. So I will say I do think that Hurts' ability to hit the deep ball when they needed it did come to pass in this game. So.
And another play that worked real well, and it always works. And
yes.
The tush push, the famous tush push,
I want to hear this.
By Jalen Hurts, and he's like the only guy that can do it. Like he perfects the play. How long is it going to be in effect? I don't know.
What do you think?
It will be banned.
It will be banned.
This is the last year of it. Yeah, it's done. It's done.
They're running it too often. At least bring it out every once in a blue moon. Yes. They're running it too often, right? What do you think, Brent? You think it's done?
It's got to go.
This has got to go.
Just, come on.
If you could place a prop bet, this would be the last year.
This is the last year it's going to happen. And you see, they're even doing it in college. And I've heard in high school
but
even.
No one does it like Hurts. He's strong. I don't know. It's like, I think they're going to ban it too as well, guys. So let's get back into it with 3 minutes left. Mahomes connected with Tyquan Thornton for a 49-yard touchdown, narrowing the deficit to 3 points. But the key play at the end of the game was the interception by Andrew Mukabuka.
Oh, well, there you go.
In the end zone.
Yes.
Or Joe Fate Boom, whatever you want to call him. Intended for Travis Kelce. It was intercepted by Andrew, but I thought Kelce could have made, I don't know, this is my personal opinion, could have made a better attempt to catch the ball or make it go incomplete. I question either his age or the relationship with Taylor Swift. I don't know. It's like,
wow.
I just feel like
obligatory Taylor Swift reference. Thank you very much, Steve.
I mean, yes, it was an interception, but did you guys feel that at all? Did you watch it on the highlights? I don't know.
Dave Wall was definitely thinking about it. I know that.
Can I say
Sorry.
This? I thought at times Kelce looked okay. I mean, I questioned him after that Super Bowl performance, a year ago, or actually, I guess it was in February against the Eagles here. But I mean, he caught a nice crossing route, there in the third quarter from Mahomes. Looked pretty good. I mean, but this interception was definitely not on Mahomes. I mean, you could say maybe it was a little bit of a fastball, but that's one of those interceptions where you hate to credit it to the quarterback. So, yeah. I mean, maybe he takes a little bit off of it, but I mean, that's a play that's got to be made. In a game like this, tight, low scoring,
he's got to catch that ball and score a touchdown. That wasn't like Mahomes. At any rate, guys, the Eagles ended up recovering an onside kick, and they secured the win by picking up a first down. Go Eagles. The Chiefs will be off to a slow start, but they'll get better as the season progresses, boys.
All right. Well said, Steve. Dave, we're going to get into your game of the week selection. All right, let's get into this one. What do you got?
Well, it was the Falcons versus the Minnesota Vikings, and I just have to say, I should have stuck with my preseason pick here, folks. I did pick Atlanta to have a better record and make the playoffs over the Vikings, but I had to go with Mr. Golden Boy, JJ, and it wasn't good. I was told by some people here that this guy's a winner, by the way.
Never go against yourself again. Yeah. Brent will blow JJ.
Yeah, a couple of geniuses here.
I only told you 20 times to take JJ. Other than that,
yeah, jeez. Well, he started 2 games and had 1 good quarter of football against the Bears. Steve's hanging his hopes on 1 good quarter against the Bears. Over his first 2 starts, McCarthy's 24-41, 301 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 3 picks. He really struggled in this one. The Falcons intercepted 2 of his passes. He fumbled 3 times, including twice when he dropped the ball without even being hit, and he lost that one. he seemed to be off on several throws, even when he had clean pockets. And this was my concern, is how accurate can he be throwing the ball consistently from the pocket? Because if you watched him up north, he made a lot of plays outside the structure. And that's what I was wondering. Can he be a consistent thrower from the pocket? Because in the NFL, you have to be able to do it both ways. You have to be able to make plays outside the pocket and inside the pocket.
Correct.
That's what I doubted. I would add their offensive line was beaten up. They really missed Christian Darrisaw, one of the better offensive tackles in the game. And whoever was on that side was wrecking that backup tackle, I would say, watching the game. It was a big reason they surrendered 6 sacks in this one. They also lost Ryan Kelly and the other tackle, Justin Scully. Both went down with concussions. So overall, they surrendered 6 sacks. Not a great day for the offensive line. Not a great game for JJ. Dead, insult to injury, obviously, the sprained ankle, as we touched upon earlier. I was really interested to see how he looks, by the way, coming back off the injury. The Carson Wentz era, let it begin, I guess, here, at least for a few weeks. I would be remiss if I didn't give some love to my playoff pick, the Atlanta Falcons. Let's start with that defense. The rookies, Jalen Walker, James Pierce Jr., 2 first-round edge rushers, each sacked McCarthy. I would also add that Brandon Dorius, 1.5 sacks. Leonard Floyd, the offseason pickup, 1 sack. Former Buckeye, Zach Harrison, had a sack and a half. They really got after JJ and that makeshift offensive line. It really appeared the offseason moves to improve this front 7 really paid off in this one. And, it wasn't the most explosive effort by the Falcons offense. Penix only threw 21 times for 135 yards, so they didn't get a big day out of throwing it. He didn't turn the ball over, which is most important, like in a close, low-scoring kind of game. The real hero in this one is a running back that I love, and that was Bijan Robinson. The third-year running back went for 143 yards on 22 carries.
This guy's good.
He's going to be one of the 2 best running backs in the NFL in a few years. Credit the Atlanta offensive line that did a great job of opening up holes and kind of wore down that Minnesota Vikings defense as the game went along. I would also be remiss that after Young Ho Koo lost me a bet my first week of the season, that Parker Romo did an excellent job of replacing him and hit all 5 of his field goals. Just bottom line, this game leaves some real doubts about the Vikings, especially at the quarterback position. As I mentioned, the start of the Carson Wentz era, I don't know if that's a good thing. It's going to be interesting to see how the quarterback situation plays out, especially with a guy that hasn't won a significant game in 3 years. Again, I was once a fan of this guy. I still think this is a pretty talented roster. I agree with Steve. I'm an O'Connell fan. If anybody can get the most out of Wentz, it's going to be him. Yep. The Falcons showed the two biggest reasons I picked them to make the playoffs, starting with that front 7. They invested draft picks. They worked free agency to build that front 7 up. Again, I think Bijan, along with Jahmyr Gibbs, are the 2 backs that I'm banking are going to be the Henry and Saquon Barkley of the future in the NFL.
I agree, Dave.
So it's going to be interesting to see the directions of these 2 teams moving forward. Damn, I should have picked the Falcons.
Yep. Very well said, Dave. All right, I'm going to get into my pick, and that was the Cincinnati Bengals and the Jaguars. My prediction was I had the Bengals winning 42-27.
Yeah.
Wow, that almost happened.
Yes.
The final score was 31-27. I did say a shootout it was, but I thought the Bengals, and that probably would have happened, my prediction, if Burrow's in.
Yeah, because Burrow doesn't throw the picks like Browning did. Remember, Browning had 3 picks in the game, and I think Burrow takes care of the ball a little bit better than that.
Yeah, so I want to just kind of talk about the big highlight here, and that is the game-winning drive. The Bengals mounted a 92-yard, 15-play drive in the final minutes. Yes. The drive was aided by a key pass interference penalty against this guy I never heard of before, Travis Hunter.
Oh, jeez.
Wasn't he some big draft pick? I don't know. Anyways, Browning sealed the win with a 1-yard quarterback sneak with 18 seconds remaining. Wow, what a win for the Bengals, and it keeps Mr. Burrow, which we want Burrow to do well later in the season. Go ahead.
Well, if you're the Bengals, you got to think about it. You got lucky to win last week against the Browns. The Browns should have won that football game. We got into it last week. You escape a victory in this one when you lose your starting quarterback. You need a last second drive. Well, that just shows you the fine line in this league.
The NFL.
It's the fine line in this league. This is why we love the NFL. I read a stat. Over the last 25 or so years, 60% of the games are decided by 7 points or less. So this is, I mean, the parity in this league works out to where every week is like this, and you just have to find a way to win, and the Bengals have done that.
Okay. Well, we're going to get into our final topic, and that is the bold prediction review. So Steve Retzer and Dave Greenshield made bold predictions this past Sunday, and we will turn to Mr. Dave Greenshield. Dave, give us your bold prediction. Did it come true? Did it not come true?
Well,
what do you got?
I think it's right there. I said Drake May would have 3 touchdown passes against the Miami Dolphins. He came up 1 short, but I would add this. He did play really well. 19 of 23, 230 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and I would add he had 10 rushes for 31 yards with a touchdown. So he did end up with 3 total touchdowns.
I like that, Dave.
Well said, Dave.
So the first Patriot quarterback to do that since this guy named Tom Brady. I don't know, maybe you've heard of him. Not much of an announcer, that guy, according to some. I thought this was a game where May and the Patriot passing game would show some improvement and get well against a Dolphins secondary that's just really lacking. It's the right prescription for any pass offense. I do think plenty of quarterbacks are going to get well against the secondary. Hello, Josh Allen on Thursday night. I do like May and do expect him to continue to show growth this season. Unlike Mr. Retzer, I don't see this as a playoff team.
Playoffs?
Yeah, I know.
Come on, Dave, they're playoffs.
I think Vrabel and Mann. Thank you, Mr. Moore.
Yeah, Jim Moore is in this office right now. Oh my God.
I have to say this. I think that Vrabel and Patriots management need one more good offseason to build up the offensive line, maybe the receiver position a little bit. But me and the Patriots, we're going to take the victory in this one.
Yeah,
Steve.
Well said, Steve. Give us your bold prediction review.
Well, boys, great minds think alike, and
yes, sir.
I had this game too, the Patriots and the Dolphins, and I said the Patriots would beat the Dolphins in Miami, even though Tua was 7-0 all time against them. And it came true. The Patriots won 33-27. Mike Vrabel got his first win as a new head coach of the Patriots. And now Mike McDaniel is now 0-2 and looking to be the first coach fired this season, guys. Drake May had a good game, tossing 2 touchdown passes, no interceptions, like Dave said.
Yep.
Milton Williams, former Eagle, had 2 sacks on Tua, proving to be worth the big money he signed up for.
Right.
And I just got to say it, go Patriots.
Yeah. Well said, Steve. All right, boys. Going to give your final thoughts on today's episode. We'll start with Mr. Dave Greenshield. Dave, give us your final thoughts.
Interesting week too. I thought they had some fairly interesting matchups this week. I knew I should have gone with my gut on the Falcons over the Vikings, but nevertheless, it's just going to be interesting to see the direction of the Browns season because it's not looking good right now, guys.
No, not at all. How about any JJ McCarthy? Can we talk to you any more JJ McCarthy predictions?
I think right now we're going to have to wait 2 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Steve, give us your final thoughts.
Well, guys, I just hope to not see anyone get injured. All those quarterbacks getting injured.
Yeah.
I hope it for the whole league. Let's keep everyone healthy, especially the Browns. And I'm excited for the Browns, man. Even though they're Green Bay, I don't know, but let's go Browns. Let's see what happens, guys.
Yeah. Well said, Steve. All right, everybody, we're going to kind of wrap things up here. Take care.